Jacob, home field has so much new stuff, especially for March and March Madness. They came in with new jerseys, like new retro jerseys, which are super, super cool. They always have the best stuff. I bought a home field shirt a couple years ago, and it still looks brand spanking new. And I got more home field stuff on the way. I absolutely cannot get enough of home field apparel.
If you're a NASCAR fan, actually, they have some throwback gear on their site too
Yeah.
right now. So tap in, home field. If you want to support the show, use code SQUARE at checkout. You get 15% off if you're a first time orderer, or you get 10% off if this is if you're just a home field addict. That's code SQUARE at checkout. There's one company, Andy, that we trust to put our own merch out there into the world and who we firmly believe is coming on top this football season. That's elitesports.com. They support athletes directly. They make custom stuff for us and for them. So how could we not be on board?
We got friends who have bought the crew necks. I always wear my Elite Sports Squaring Around hat. Got to support the brand. Use code SQUARE at checkout for a 10% discount. Not too shabby. EliteSports.com. They support the athletes and they support us. So go support them.
Thanks for squaring.
Are y'all ready for this? Pretty exciting, right? Yeah.
What's up, everybody? First things first, I want to start off by saying thank you to my good buddy, Cowboy Zimmy, who was at my first jiu-jitsu tournament over the weekend. So thanks for showing up, buddy.
No, it was a good time. It was a really good time. I grew up watching my brother do Taekwondo stuff. So I kind of had like an idea of like what to expect a little bit. It was a lot better than that. It was a ton better than that. On the list of things you can go support a friend at, I would say art installation number one, because you get free wine and cheese. This is probably in like that second tier. Was not bad. Did not have a bad time.
Yeah, he ran away before the crawfish boil, but there was a big crawfish boil and party afterwards, and I stayed way too late. I was there for like 8 hours. It was crazy.
You were.
I clocked in and out of work. Also, no mustache, everybody. Surprise.
Yeah, by the way.
Jump scare. Yeah. I fulfilled my promise to Texas State baseball. I did a whole video of me shaving it off. Greetings, everybody. We come to you behind the scenes. Me and Andrew are going to film in a couple hours, but I have something important to do. It's time to shave off the stash. I do this every year in support of the baseball team. This year I grew it out just before the end of football, pretty much, like November-ish. Had a lot of fun with it. It's been good. So I got a head start on baseball this year. But I'm shaving it because baseball is done. Sad face. So, I grow it out every year in support of the team. And it's kind of a reminder for myself, if my mustache can grow back, this team can come back and do some great things. So kind of a reminder for all of us, Did not get the attention I thought it would.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I put way too much effort into it for the amount of likes I've gotten. So if you want to do me a favor, go to our Twitter. Everybody go like that shit. Then I'll feel better about myself.
I think it's good. I liked it a lot. I thought, let me go find it again, because I know I saw it and I watched it earlier today and I thought it was good.
But yeah, jiu-jitsu over the weekend. Usually I'm talking about athletes. This weekend I was one.
No, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
And I did pretty well, I think. I was going up against my buddy Eric, which I did not think was going to happen because I was supposed to be with the little boys, 165 and below. I weighed in at 173, and a little 9-year-old who was in charge of weighing everything. And I think this is what you were talking about before, but like the little kids that do this shit are so talented. It's amazing. Like the best thing you could do for your child is like put them in something very early so they like know a lot of things about it. These kids like grew up on the mats and stuff. And I just remember thinking about like in karate and kung fu and how like I was just like one of those like little mat demons, like I was like one of those kids. That's like all I did was karate or kung fu. And I was talking about this and talking about that. And so it took me back. It was very nostalgic for me.
I would say this, that if I had to rank, again, I don't know why I'm in this ranking thing, but if I was going to rank.
No, you're into it.
Yeah, no, I really much am. Because I would say Golden Glove boxing, like the little kid Golden Glove boxing, when you get two kids that actually want to fight, is by far the best thing in the world. Two 10-year-olds who know like just enough about boxing, just enough to move and bob and weave. That's really entertaining to watch. These kids on Saturday, It was a couple that I was like, this is good, but I did take some mental notes. I didn't get to talk to him about it, but we don't need to do it here. There's a couple kids that danced a little bit too much. I said, just go. Like, there's a little bit too much of just tapping your shoulders. Like, just go for it, man. Just enjoy it.
There was a lot of tears too, and I was like, oh, your little buddy's crying now. Got his ass kicked.
I will say,
I did not cry.
Wrestling, you did not cry. That's very true. Midwest wrestling is really big. Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. So I've covered a couple of those, and it was interesting. It was very reminiscent of that too.
The parents at these things too. Jesus Christ, they are intense.
They took up a lot of seat space. I had to stand the whole time.
Yeah, Zimmel was with all the other parents, so it was funny because I lost in overtime basically. Eddie Bravo Invitational overtime rules, so they took my back, and basically you have to like escape first, or you have to choke him out. I did not choke out my buddy Eric, so I lost. And that's not pretty much how I thought it was going to happen. I thought I was going to come in overweight and I was going to lose in overtime. Then all of those things happened.
What are you, Matt? Are you Mike McCarthy?
Yeah.
Dude, that's pretty good.
So notes for next time is don't eat as much. Don't go to brunch right before. That's what I did. And then Zimmel did the classic thing where he shows up like 15 minutes early to everything. So he was there before I even got there.
Yeah, I got there like 10 minutes early. I talked to the dudes doing the crawfish boil. You could smell it from the interstate. I was like, holy cow, what is that? That is
fuck ton of crawfish. Yeah. It was crazy.
Good. Yeah, it looked like everybody had a good time. It did not. A couple people came up to me and said, hey, are you interested? Are you thinking about joining? And I had to politely decline. One guy I was standing next to, he said he's done it for 8 months. I said, well, good luck, buddy, because I don't think 8 months in you're gonna really do anything. But you know what? I don't know. I didn't see
fighting that day.
He was.
I don't know.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't stick around long enough to see how he did.
He did.
I just anytime somebody says they've done something for 8 months, I'm kind of hesitant, kind of leery on how they're gonna do. Now, maybe you're a prodigy, but this guy didn't look like it.
Yeah, no, it's all about consistency, and that's why I wanted to reinvigorate myself by doing one of these tournaments and losing, so I can come back and rise from the ashes like a phoenix.
Yeah. Good luck. You should have invited me to that one. Invite me to that tournament where you come back and like for like a phoenix. Because this one,
honestly, I was hoping nobody was going to show up to this, but you wanted to, so I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. And I did pretty good. Like I didn't, I got a few takedowns very early. I was in very favorable spots.
Yeah.
For a while, I was like, I might win this.
If you weren't wrestling or fighting somebody that was like, 7 inches taller than you, I think you would have had a pretty good shot. This guy was what, like 6'3", taller than me.
2 at least, yeah.
Yeah, he was a tall dude. He had a bunch of inches on you, so and I think that didn't help you.
Yeah, Oh well. Shout out my boys at 10th Planet San Antonio.
Tired of winning the tailgate, but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squarin Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squarin Around. I am the babyface Jacob Rodriguez. That is my humble partner in crime, Andrew Zimmel. Fresh off the caboose. Have you played Red Dead Redemption?
I have the original.
Oh, lame. Nah, I'm talking about Red Dead 2, bro.
The first one's really good, but yeah, the second one I've seen looks really incredible too. I might have to get it now that I have to buy a PS5.
Oh, true. Well, it's on the PS4. It came out on the PS4.
Well, my point is, I got to buy a PS4 for college football. So why would I buy PS4 when I know I got to get the PS5?
Craven tweeted earlier. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a PS4 because I don't have it." And everybody was like, "You have to buy a 5, moron." And
moron. 500. It's like $600, dude. Everything being equal.
How much shit costs nowadays?
God, Biden fix this.
PS4 cost at one point.
That's crazy. So but the big thing that I saw is that you can't crossplay. If
Oh,
you have an
really?
Xbox, yeah, that's what they're saying. You can't crossplay. So
Dang.
you have a PS5. That means I gotta get a PS5. Craven's gonna have a PS5, and the league I'm in that I'm joining potentially, depending, still up in the air. I gotta tell these guys, if there's no crossplay, we're gonna have to cut like 5 guys out of this league because they've been talking about
No
Xbox stuff.
crossplay? This sounds like crazy.
That's what I've heard. That's what they've said. No crossplay in NCAA. Now, maybe that's something that will change over time, but I read that that's not going to happen. No crossplay for NCAA to start.
I literally am looking this up right now.
Yeah, look it up. I'm telling you.
NCAA
And if I'm right, put it on the
No
screen.
crossplay dynasty. So
That's tough.
yeah, that's kind of a
So what
bummer.
do you do with that?
So
Does that mean
I mean, you can play as like whatever teams and then play in like exhibit. That's how it's done in Madden, actually, I think. But they have crossplay in those, where you build your ultimate team and whatever.
Yeah. Which I mean, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure you do the ultimate teams, which I don't think anybody wants to do. We're in that cusp, Jake, of like old Gen Z, young millennial. I don't really care about Ultimate Team and Madden.
No, we're not millennials. I tell people all day, I'm not a millennial. I'm a Gen Z little TikToker guy. But like we're the first ones of those.
Yeah, I'm not putting myself in that group. But
why?
I would say I'm not trying to
cringy.
play Ultimate Team. I'm not trying to play Ultimate Team, and I feel like a lot of the Gen Z younger than us are into that. I guess I'm not. I've never been. I'm a straight up throw the dynasty in there, exhibition game maybe. I want to play in the league though. That's the big thing. I want to be like take my little Bobcats or take another team and put them in a league and try to compete. I think that'd be fun.
That's fun. So you play like weekly or what? How does that work?
That's right now again, and this is very much up in the air because I don't know how much time I'm gonna have. But the conversation is
didn't have
like,
time or didn't make time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I got this podcast, other stuff.
Yeah.
I wake up at 3 a.m. every day.
I'm going to make time to play this game.
Yeah,
I don't know what's gonna suffer, but something in my life will suffer because I'm playing this game.
Hygiene?
No, never hygiene. Look at me.
Never hygiene.
Look at this.
Food?
No, my hair looks dusty. It's not, baby. It's hair oil. Ooh, look at this.
So I'm
Tell me, I
curious
look
to see
great.
what's going to take a back seat. That'll be interesting to find out what takes a back seat for you. We do a 2-week
I might
hiatus for the pod.
Maybe. I don't know. We've only been doing one episode a week lately, which is a big change from last week where we were doing like fucking 4 at some point. That was insane. So stupid. Anyway, let's talk about something else kind of sad. It was kind of a womp womp weekend. Softball lost. Started off good. Won on Friday. Coming
Beat
in
Penn
hot on
State.
Saturday, made it to the Sunday game, which is important. They've never done that. So this team made history in the fact that they played on that Sunday, which they've always been trying to do to secure up the regional win. Sadly, though, that did not happen. They were supposed to beat the Aggies twice. I think they only happened one time. So, yeah, that was the first womp womp. And then also, surprise, baseball sucks. What the fuck?
Oh no! We suck again!
I didn't know 2 things. Number 1, how bad baseball was. Number 2, how much was riding on the last
Series of the season.
And I guess 3. That only 10 of the 14 Sunbelt teams make the tournament. Because I thought we had this shit all clinched up. 2 weeks ago from today, actually, I texted Philip while we were talking to Coach Ricky Woodard. And I was like, hey, can we get Hpwdy for next week after the Sunbelt or for the Sunbelt Conference Tournament week? So prospectively, we would have talked to him yesterday had everything gone according to plan. And he said, I don't know, the schedule's not out. And I was like, why do you need the tournament schedule first? Like, aren't we in? It didn't make sense to me at the time. Now it does. So yeah.
But I'll tell you, as a co-host, you've gotten a lot better. As a producer, every week you put out new good stuff. As a booking agent, you're still learning. You're still learning as a booking agent.
Learning.
You're getting better, but that's a tough look.
In our defense, too, had softball like been easier to book, either Jess and Sarah or Ricky Woodard, we could have.
You're gonna blame the women, huh?
We could have talked to baseball a long time ago. No,
little Harrison Buckner action here.
But then baseball was like not doing well at the time, and you and I talking teams you and I like talking to teams while they're kind of riding a wave, and baseball was kind of like Hawaii 5-0.
Well,
like
let me tell you, the
best
whole
of
season,
fails
Jake, the whole
compilation.
season they've been this way. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't just like a once thing. It was the
Yeah.
whole season it was like this. What
Mhm.
stinks, and okay, we want to talk about the loss to Southern Miss. We can. The entire series, when you have that much riding on it, I was expecting the Cats to kind of come up a little bit bigger, larger. It felt like the stage might have been too big. The way they lost the final game, I was very disappointed. I think it was a 5-2 loss to the Golden Eagles. That's part one.
Yeah.
But that's tough. But part two of this is the transfer portal side of things, which I don't know if you want to group both of them together. We can. I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
But isn't it like a whole chicken and egg thing? Like,
if you're playing in the Sun Belt tournament, players are not going in the transfer portal. Does that make sense? That like I understand that like a guy and Pena is the person who's front of mind for us because he has decided to take
as
his talents.
seen on the show, the only player from that team we featured this year.
Now we just got done with the curse. We literally just got the monkey off the back, and then we bring Ricky Woodard on, and softball loses, and then Dylan Pena, the only baseball player, transfers out. So again, I'm just saying it feels like Jacob Rodriguez has something to do with this. All of that to be said, if you're playing in the tournament, you're not transferring out because you wouldn't be able to. You'd be playing. So
their window to transfer is still, after the Sun Belt Conference tournament.
No, I understand that. And maybe after the tournament we're talking about, I can't believe Pena left.
Respectively, they're going to come in as like a 10 seed. We probably lose to who's number one, Louisiana.
Hold on a
double
second.
Elimination bracket.
Hold on a minute. Hold your horses as I wear my
been out today.
As I wear my cowboy hat. Hold on. Hold your horses. Crazier things have happened. The baseball tournament is a very wacky, weird thing. And granted, Texas State would have literally had to win the Sun Belt to get a bid to the regionals. Yes. The RPI was not high enough. So they would have had to win the conference tournament. So you're right. Maybe after the tournament, Penny decides to leave. But what I'm saying is he would not have left if we were still playing because he would not have been able to leave yet. He would still been playing. Now, maybe afterwards, when we're done, he could leave. But I'm just saying, in this moment.
Yes. So, did you read his whole deal?
I did. A lot of thanking God, thanking family, thanking Texas State.
Yeah. No, it feels like that shit was predetermined.
Which stinks. I'm not a fan of that at all. I get it,
Dalen
but
Pena, May 21st. So this is yesterday. I just want to start off by thanking my teammates, coaches, and staff at Texas State for the past 3 years. The memories, unforgettable stories, and relationships Texas State baseball has given me will always hold a special place in my heart. With that being said, God has led me down a different path, and I've decided to enter the transfer portal with 1 year of eligibility left. Bobcat today, Bobcat for life.
Now, all right, Jakey. All right, let's put the ball in your court as you shave your mustache after Texas State baseball loses. Now, you don't call signees, you don't call commits Bobcats. You say you have to wear a Bobcat jersey to be a Bobcat.
Of course.
When somebody leaves, they say Bobcat forever. Are they a Bobcat forever if they've decided to leave?
Well, what's the whole thing? Oh, once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat, right?
Now, hold on.
That's the fucking thing that we say. Our school says it.
But I'm saying, like, once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat. If you graduate, but you see somebody on the square who did 3 credit hours, you call them a Bobcat.
Tell you something about,
I'm just asking. Let me tell you
something about Dalen Pena. Dalen Pena's first at bat was a grand slam against the University of Texas at Austin. Dalen Pena did a bunch of shit at Texas State, so that guy's a fucking Bobcat.
You're giving him the Bobcat.
Oh
forever.
Yeah, he got an A number. He got a student ID. He did the whole thing.
But a lot of people,
the river at the end.
A lot of people have done that, and I'm just saying, if you decide to transfer out, I want to know where Jacob and the Squaring Around podcast stands. Because if you're deciding to go chase a bag, because I imagine that's what he's doing, I imagine that's probably Pena. He's too good of a player. He's not trying to fight for playing time somewhere. He's going after a bag somewhere.
Now,
does that sour it a little bit for you? Does that kind of ruin it a little bit for you? Is college athletics tainted because of the transfer portal for Jacob?
A little bit, I guess, but I was talking to you about this yesterday, actually. Ryder Hernandez. I was a huge Ryder Hernandez fan last year, and he ended up going to UIW. Does well at UIW. Nothing crazy. But I was like, oh, why
He
transfer
was a
from Texas
utility player
State?
for Texas State.
Yeah, kind of an all-around guy. But DP
Penny
is
was
like
not that. Penny was much
DP
better.
is like basically like our best batter the entire year.
Yes. And I look, the baseball team
And I
is
saw
just,
him. I saw him at softball the last time. The one time I set foot in that stadium, I run into Dalen Pena. We have a good conversation.
yeah.
Obviously, he's not going to tip us off.
Do you ask him where he was going to go?
But I
Be
feel
hey,
like
the
he
Cougars,
started
huh?
that notes, entry in his phone a long time ago, and it was not just this weekend.
I'll just say this as a fan of college athletics, if you decide to go in the transfer portal, do not thank us. I don't know. Maybe
I just want to thank God, the Squarin Around podcast.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying no. As a fan, I'm saying don't thank the fans.
Oh, okay.
Thank the coaches. Thank the university. Don't thank the fans, because I will say I like Daniel Pena. I thought he played really good for the Bobcats. I'm really happy. It irks me a little bit. It does. It bothers me a little bit, especially a guy with that talent going into the transfer portal. It bothers me, and it bothers me that this baseball team underachieved this year. But what can you do?
I don't want to be the harbinger of truth, but at the very beginning of the year, I said this team
They don't have pitching.
Always comes in with so much fucking hype, and one year they're gonna have all the hype, and then they're not gonna have anything to back it up, and that's exactly what happened this year. And unfortunately, it happened to my favorite team in the whole wide world. Every time I saw them, pretty much they lost in some capacity. I don't know if I've seen them win actually this year.
Oh, this year probably.
Because I went to go see them at Dell Diamond. They lost that. I was gonna go to see the Astros Classic. They ended up losing that, but they won a couple of games, so it was kind of cool. What else? I saw them at Louisiana. Yeah, no, I didn't go to UTSA this year. I thought about it, but then I was like, man, it kind of ruined my life going to that and then going to work right after, so I didn't have going.
Okay.
But yeah, they lost to UTSA, but they split the home and home. So then we beat UT. So it's like
so you're saying
to be proud of, but not great.
There's silver linings. I think that like there's silver linings for sure. It's a rebuilding year next year for Trout. I can't imagine Texas State
now.
I can't imagine Texas State gets picked next year higher than 5th in the preseason rankings. So that means you can surprise some people. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Surprise some people.
Picked to play in the Stillwater Open next year. I think it's like one of the first weekends for next year. McLean has already invited me to go hang out at his house because he covers OSU.
You want to go to Stillwater?
Not really.
Will he still be covering OSU at that point, though? That's the real question.
I think so. Most college football writers, you're kind of locking down where you're going to be at in the summertime. Because in the fall, that's go time, baby.
Yeah, that's go time. In the fall. In fact, football season begins literally on the last out of UT baseball. So just FYI for anybody that's curious.
Really?
Football season, we go full tilt, baby. Full tilt.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of a sad story. And then some guys are in the portal right now. What'd you say?
Some guys are in the portal.
Yeah, some guys are in the portal.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Throw the Randy Rupp tweet on the screen, Jake.
Okay.
Talking about staying for 4 years because that same thing has happened for softball.
You want me to read this?
Yeah. Well, you don't need to read it because the tweet will be on the screen. But yeah, you can read it for the pod. Yeah, for the audio podcast. Yes, please read it.
Okay, this is from Randy Rupp, aka the GOAT. The amount of tweets I've already seen about going into the transfer portal makes me even more thankful for my time at Texas State. Even though the portal wasn't a thing when I played, I'm grateful I found my home from the beginning. Heart, softball emoji.
Now, technically, transfer portal didn't exist. Transferring out did.
Yeah.
At any point, Randy Rupp could have been like, you know what? I'm the best pitcher at Texas State. I want to go pitch for an SEC team, or I want to go pitch for a Big 12 team. And she did it. She locked it down. She stayed in San Mo, and look what happened. Her numbers should probably be up there. I'm not saying retire it. I'm just saying honor it, put it up on the wall, talk about it as one of the best.
Softball numbers retired, so I mean, let's start somewhere, I guess.
Let's start somewhere. Well, and we talked about Jessica Mullins, arguably the best pitcher of the 2020s. Randy Rupp is arguably the best pitcher in Texas State history. And if you said to me, You got to make a Mount Rushmore. She'd be really hard to leave off. You know what I mean? It's somebody that you're talking about when you talk about the best athletes that have come through Texas State and Southwest Texas State, for that matter. Point is, I saw that tweet. I was like, hell yeah, brother. That's what I love to see. That's what I love to see.
Yeah, no, I agree too. My college experience was a little weird too, because for a long time I thought I was going to go into the military. And so my senior year of high school, I spent a lot of time like applying for ROTC scholarships. And I ended up getting one to Prairie View A&M. And the Marine Corps was like, hey, we know you wanted to get an A&M. You didn't get an A&M. You can go to Prairie View, go there for 2 years, and then go to real A&M. Full ride deal.
Oh, you would have been miserable.
By that point, though, I had already like had everything at Texas State like set up, and they hit me up in like June about this. So I was like, "What the fuck?" Like my orientation at Texas State was like the next week or something, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going. Sorry, guys," because I wanted my college experience to be centered in one place. You know,
leave it to the military to be late on paperwork, huh?
Yeah. No, I think something happened. Like somebody definitely got it before me and turned it down, and then they were like, "Next batter up, Jacob Rodriguez."
The R's. All right, let's call this guy. I mean, yeah, I think that college athletics is a little different than your college experience.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I that's why I chose to go to Texas State in the end, because I wanted my college experience to be like one thing. I didn't want to go like to one place and then have a different experience at one place, and then it's like weird, I wanted like a home. And that's what Randy Rupp is talking about, having a home.
Very, very true. And I'm very happy that she stayed for all 4 years. Players who want to transfer out, I understand. I get it. But at the same time, I would think that the culture that's being built across athletics, which we're going to get to here in a moment, is a good enough culture that I would like these players to stay. Yeah. What's more disappointing to you? The way, like, you get three options. Players transferring out. So you're talking about Penn, you're talking about some of the softball players. Softball losing the way they lost, with Jessica Mullins pitching as well as she did, allowing only one run. Texas State loses. Or baseball missing the tournament completely. Which one disappoints you the most?
Baseball missing the tournament completely.
Really? Okay.
Because softball did the whole thing that they were trying to do. They've taken like an incremental step again to get to where they want to be.
Sure. Hats off to the Aggies. They did exactly what they needed to do to win this thing today. Second, I couldn't be more proud of the ball club that I'm losing right now. Obviously, it's going to be a rough week, just because of the group I'm losing, and that would be exactly what she said, because who they are as people. Obviously, they're great ball players, but who they are as people and what they've done for this program. That's why I'll miss them. The last time I got here, in fact, it was right here at this stadium that I swore I would never not make it to a regional title game because I didn't have my ace in the game. And so I went back to her last night to make sure we solidified that. And then we hit the grand slam. So I was like, really? Just my luck. But, Jessica Mullins is always going to want the ball, and I don't think that's ever going to change in her lifetime of how she goes about her business. Yeah, a long time ago, I went to interview at Florida, and it was Tim Walton and I, and obviously Tim got the job. But while I sat there, I thought, do I really want to get into this world? Because this is a whole nother world. I like where I live. I love the people at Texas State, and I felt like we could build something special there. And so, after that, I turned down a few calls, and I just have decided to build a program, and it's worked out well for both sides, in my opinion.
Unfortunately, they were on the wrong side of it this time. They got a bunch of great young talent that now has this experience. Coach Woodard told us Madison Azua might be better than Jessica Mullins.
I don't buy that. I don't believe that.
She has the capacity to do it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that have the capacity. My car has the capacity to beat a Mustang. It's not beating a Mustang in a race.
Your car has no capacity to be a Mustang. Let's be very honest. You drive a piece of shit sedan. How the fuck does that have the capacity to be a Mustang?
Here's what I'm saying. I think that softball, this was the best team that they put on the field in a number of years. I would like to think that they're going to be good again next year. Nothing is promised in the Sun Belt Conference. Nothing is promised. Louisiana is still going to be a great team. There's still a bunch of really good teams in the Sun Belt. Texas State, they're going to have their work cut out for them, and they're not going to have their workhorse pitcher.
Kind of a storybook season too. I mean, they won the Sun Belt tournament at home, through the rain, through all the bullshit.
Brought a banner home from Zimmel.
Exactly.
I'm thinking about, by the way, folks, I'm thinking about getting a banner to put up here and
You
just
should think
like
about getting curtains. That's the
I
first
just-
thing. Or maybe put 2 banners up and put curtains on your fucking window.
just a Texas State. Well, here's the thing. I'm an audio medium, Jake. I'm an audio medium.
Yeah.
The medium sounds good.
Yeah,
Sun in my eyes
looks
doesn't
like shit. I'm just telling you.
sun doesn't affect the way I talk.
That's why he has a hat on, because the sun is shining brightly in his eyes.
So I'm thinking of getting the banners behind me.
What if we could transfer as a student journalist? You know, we have a good freshman year, good sophomore year, and then we're like, you know what?
Join the
Time to
Daily
go-
Texan.
Joining the Daily Text. But then I feel like we would just be role players for them, you know? Like I wouldn't be the editor in chief of the Daily Texan, that's for sure.
I will tell you.
Because I'm brown. Everybody. You
I
can't
will tell you, Dr. Fluker, she told us all early. We're talking like first 6 weeks.
She was like, you
of
better
the semester.
transfer out of here.
No, straight up. She was like, if you want it, she was like, if you want to be a number, Texas is for you. Like if you were good with just being a role player, being a number, like maybe you turn into something, but like it's gonna take a lot more work to turn into something up there than the one-on-one stuff you're gonna get at Texas State. And it was true. I was not gonna be the Texas sports press. Like, you know what I mean?
Nope.
But I made a pretty good deal for myself at Texas State. So
Me too. No, I liked the little niche I carved out for myself. I found a home, you know, and I totally understand why an athlete would want to leave in the modern
I
age.
don't.
There's money, there's potential fame, there's, you know, I don't know. Yeah, especially depending on where you go. You know, obviously, if you go from Texas State to UIW, I kind of go, what the fuck was that about?
I think if Pena goes anywhere in the group of 5, it's a step down.
You think so?
I think that yes. Another Sun Belt team.
I think he
outside
could
of
play at
Louisiana.
Texas for sure. Texas did not have a good team at all. Any of our guys could have walked onto that team.
I don't know, man. They're not looking good right now. They look like they might lose to Cincinnati right now. But I'm telling you that look, and I'm not saying that just because I got off the airwaves over there. I'm telling you that like it's not a bad team. It's not a bad team at all. So
Not a good one though. And neither was ours, I guess.
yeah. Well, one team is playing in the Big 12 tournament. The other one couldn't make the Sun Belt tournament.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Damn it.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know, hate to see it.
Yeah. One thing we are winning though, Zimmy. We signed, and not we. Texas State got this shit done. $23 million over 15 years for UFCU, University Federal Credit Union, to take over the football stadium. Damn it, UFCU Stadium. Yep. Yeah, they got the naming rights deal done. It's the largest deal, corporate sponsorship in the Sun Belt, and the largest naming donation in Texas State's history. Very big stuff at Texas State.
Today's announcement is the culmination of an 11-year relationship between UFCU and Texas State, and we're excited to take our long-term partnership with UFCU to this next level. As Texas institutions, we share a commitment to serve our state and to increase access to opportunity, education, and growth. What a great partner to be partnering with, and we can't wait to see what happens next.
Are y'all ready for this? Pretty exciting, right? Yeah, think about again, I want to thank Kelly and the entire team for all you've done to make this possible, make it happen today. And I love that you stole one of my lines when you say this is now UFCU Stadium. Right? Here we go.
I'll say it again. Welcome to UFCU Stadium. Or a little more practical. I'm ready for this one next year. You ready? We're coming to you live on ESPN from UFCU Stadium in beautiful San Marcos, Texas, as we host the 2024 Sun Belt Conference Championship game. I think that's got a pretty nice ring to it, right? I like that. So, I will say this agreement is much more than a naming agreement. It's a true partnership that's going to provide significant benefits to our student athletes and the entire Texas State community. USCU is going to directly support our student athletes through education programs and resources. This includes financial seminars. We're going to do workshops with our student athletes, training programs, all designed to assist with essential financial skills for them. It's going to make a big difference. It's going to be invaluable for them with their personal development and their future success. So thank you for that. And Cody, I hope you're ready for this because I know you're spearheading that. As Kelly mentioned, this is a 15-year agreement. It is also the largest naming gift in the history of the university. Yeah. And I can tell you personally, our goal is to make this stadium a symbol of excellence and make this stadium as valuable as possible for UFCU.
Yeah, 100%. Well, so we talk about like, okay, it's the best one in the Sun Belt. You look at the other stadiums in the conference.
Much nicer sometimes.
Yeah, I think we have one of the better ones for sure.
No, I'm saying other stadiums are nicer than ours, like JMU's.
Oh,
stadium.
I don't think so. Well,
JMU's is a crazy stadium.
JMU's a private school. JMU's a private school, and
JMU's a private school.
They won a national championship.
Immediately justifying it.
So I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, is it better than Marshall's? I don't know. I think it's
Marshall
debatable.
had that crazy drone video that the Sun Belt slapped him on the wrist for. Remember that?
Yeah. Is it better than Louisiana's? Troy's?
Yeah, Louisiana Stadium kind of sucks. Let's be honest.
South Alabama, Coastal. I'm just saying that, like, I think Texas State has a pretty nice one. It's the biggest one in the Sun Belt. I think it's going to be big for recruiting. It's going to put a lot of money into renovations. Texas State for, I don't know, the better part of 2 decades.
I hope the first thing they buy is fucking lights, man. Because
No.
let me tell you, a
First thing
stadium
they
that
buy
needs
is a
more lights.
locker room.
Us. What do you mean?
Locker
They're already doing
No.
all that shit.
I want a weight
It's
room.
a $37 million renovation, and the weight room is part of it. They're already doing
Good.
that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But you already got it. That doesn't
But
count.
I want that weight room. I want that weight room to be state of the art. I don't want anybody ever.
Where
I
were
don't
you
want-
last year when we did a whole fucking deep dive on this shit?
I don't want anybody ever to leak that a recruit came there and said that their high school weight room was better. I don't want to ever hear that again. So if that means we have to buy more dumbbells and more free weights, have at it.
But that's not what makes a good gym. Having dumbbells and free weights, like that's
What
just
makes a good gym? Jacob, what makes a good gym is you get anxious watching guys work out. What makes a good gym? You tell
I don't
me.
get anxious watching guys work out. I think it's funny that as a journalist, one of my main jobs is to watch guys work out in the Texas heat sometimes.
What makes a good gym?
I think what makes a good gym is space. This is going to give Texas State a lot of fucking space. And also will finally stop the coaches from having their press conference and then slamming fucking free weights in the background that ruins any shot that you're trying to take from the soundbite.
That's fair.
It's the most annoying
huge-
thing in the world.
Now, you were saying something that I thought was interesting. 43 years, 4 decades, Texas State didn't have the naming rights for the stadium.
Mhm.
I think that that's kind of par for the course.
Think so?
You are on the opposite end of this, and I want to get your take.
Well, okay, this is why I'm saying this actually, because Texas State was just recently named like one of the best sales programs in like the country at McCoy. And so we have some of the best salesmen rolling through, getting some of these like entry-level sales jobs at like Oracle and Dell and all this other bullshit, right? And we couldn't find one dude to sell this stadium for 40 years?
It's a newer stadium, right? Like where the renovations did not happen like recently. I think that's part of it. I think part of it is the fact that we were FBS for a long time. The football team is younger in comparison to the other teams in the state of Texas. When you talk about like the 100-year history of TCU and Baylor and Texas and A&M, I think that's part of it too. You know, I just think that there's a lot of things working against Texas State. And when you look at the other teams in the group of 5 that have naming rights deals, a lot of those only have happened in the last decade, 20 years too. So I don't know. I just think that there's like there's something to be said for all that.
I was born December 12th, 1997. I'm a Sagittarius. I like long walks on the beach. And at that time, the stadium had been up for 17 years. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Pretty healthy. I mean, it's been featured in Friday Night Lights. It's been featured in a bunch of other bullshit, you know? So it's not like it's like a no-name stadium. Like it's very, you know. But your whole thing is that like we sucked and like we had good FCS teams, but we were not good like ever basically.
Well, the other thing is that like I just the naming rights are expensive and there's not a lot of people who want to dish out money, you know? Like I think that's part of it too.
And this was the first thing I asked you is where do you think those talks started off as? Like, do you think they went to UFCU or other potential partners? I really wanted Buc-ee's.
Well,
to
do you remember if you remember, they had a whole committee. Remember, they had like a whole naming rights committee that was put together. A marketing team came together and I guess allegedly shopped the stadium around to try to figure out who's going to do it.
Well, yeah, that's
I'm kind
typically
of
what you
glad.
do. You know,
I'm kind of glad that we didn't get a crypto name. I'm kind of glad that it was like a banking institution.
well, after the whole Forex or what is it? What is it?
FTX.
Their
Yeah.
FTX thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Crypto.com stadium at Jim Wacker Field. Or
Listen,
Jim Wacker Field at
if you've ever gotten a
crypto.com.
parking ticket at Texas State, you know those guys want fucking cash in hand. So I don't think these guys would have accepted any other currency.
No. Yeah, I like that. What if we sold it to a Chinese dealer? TikTok Stadium.
I don't know. I don't think
Bike
so.
Dance Stadium. You don't
White
think so?
Dance Stadium. That'd been crazy. If that was their last stand, we'll give you guys $50 million. We're gonna make it the best 10 years ever.
Could you imagine the influencers that TikTok could roll through a Texas State game? You think Dion's doing stuff in Colorado? Just you wait till we get the TikTokers rolling through San Mo.
So just so everybody knows, this is 1.533 or whatever $1 million rolling into the university over the course of 15 years, right? To get to the $23 million deal at the end. And Texas State's making this like, it's going to complete the concourses together. So it's going to be a real horseshoe and stuff like that.
It's gonna be a bowl.
There you go. Whatever. It's going to not be a horseshoe anymore. It's going to put the other side of the horseshoe together. There you go. Do you think we're gonna have another TikToker sneak in, or are we finally gonna put up some security stuff to prevent that from ever happening?
Well, if you remember, I think it was like 2016 or 2017, somebody came on the field and like stole pylons and stole footballs and stole like, I think part of the padding. Do you remember that? It was a big
Very only vaguely, yeah.
Only vaguely, yeah. It was. I think like stole like a mule too. Took a mule. So, yeah. I mean, not great stuff. So I think the security does need to be stepped up a little bit. But I also kind of like that if you're a student, you can kind of just go to Bobcat Stadium, crack open your laptop, crack a cold one, and do your classes online, sitting at the 50-yard line.
Isn't that like the whole thing that TCU does? Like they leave it open so you can go run laps or something, or
Yeah, I don't know. Again, difference right there. Their whole campus is about the size of Texas State's incoming freshman class. So it's kind of a different world.
Before you came downstairs to watch the spring game stuff, I was chilling with Chris, and there was a big track meet going on at the track stuff, at the track complex, and we were obviously at the stadium. And at the very top of the stadium, like where they put the ESPN cameras for the games, there was like track athletes from other schools. And Chris was looking up there and like, how did they get up there? And I was like, what do you mean, how did they get up there?
By the way,
know
shout
that?
out Chris. It looked really good at that press conference.
Yeah, no. Everybody
Really buttoned up.
Who was more hyped up at that press conference? Kelly, Don Coryell, or the UFCU guy? I think Don. Don takes the cake.
I think Don. And the funny thing is that we joked about his predecessor, Larry Tice, all the time. That like Tice was one of the worst athletic directors, maybe in college athletics history. And Don is just the opposite. Like when you talk about personality, I don't know where this personality was when he was the assistant AD, because he is like bubbling, charisma, he's just excitement. You talk about Kelly being everywhere, which is noticeable because he's the president of the university. But you know who's right in tow is Don. Don is everywhere too. So shout out to Don, man. He's doing a really good job over there.
Yeah, no, Don's crushing it. Every time he sees me, he comes right up to me too and says what's up. So
never says anything to me.
We're gonna
Stays
have
away
him
from me, but
on Squaring Around at some point. I guess now that we don't get Trouty, even though I tried to get him postseason. Maybe we'll get him from the recruiting trail, like we'll get Coach Z. Kind of like a mea culpa for not getting there in the season too. So
yeah, that's tough. At some point, we just need to have like a media day for Squaring Around. Like
really
when
do.
they do their media day, they need to hit us up and be like, "Here's your media day."
No,
I don't think they'll ever do that.
Didn't basketball used to do like a banquet or something, sort of similar to how baseball does it? But they used to have like a media day. That was
Football
obviously
used to do
when we were winning Sunbelt titles and stuff like that, and we haven't done that in a while.
Football used to do something where they would have like 7 players in where they used to do the press conferences. Remember, they'd have like 7 players and you would just go and talk to all of them. And I was like, is this like what a media day is? Like, this is kind of crazy. Some of media days were a lot different. But our media day was kind of weird.
I never went to one of those. But I was
Chris,
also,
if you're listening, here's what you do. Set up a camera and just have them circle through. Just have them sit down. We'll do 15, 20 minutes. They get up, they leave. We just do assembly line and they just do our podcast and then move on.
be kind of fun, actually. We're just recording the whole time. All right,
Yeah.
who's next?
Yeah, exactly.
That could be fun. I'm down.
Chris, let's make it happen.
That would be fun to do at like a practice, like as the different positions are rolling out. We start off with special teams. We get a special teams guy on, and then we go offense, defense. Much fun to be had yet in the summertime. I think it's like almost the beginning of camp season. I think Coach GJ Kinney's like in New York and other places, and he sent his band of merry men across the state and the country to go get some last minute portal snags. So yeah. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Naming stuff. We talked about the Womp Womp weekend. Mustache Gate is obvious. I had one last thing to talk about, and it's an idea I floated online about the newsletter. Some people gave us some feedback, like, hey, we want Bobcat news and stuff. I'm just like, in my head, number one, I wanted to figure out the distribution. I think I figured that out, what platform we would go with, and like what I'm kind of doing in my own head about this. I'm going to write this newsletter as I export the video so I could obviously link our fucking show of the week, Otherwise, what the hell am I doing? Not pushing towards the show. But yeah, we'll have some Bobcat stuff, but it's not going to be me mostly breaking news and stuff, I think. I think that'll be on our Twitter at Squarin Pod. You can follow us there for all the latest stuff. And then obviously we'll have like top tweets of the week and stuff like that too. And polls maybe.
The ever famous poll questions.
Mm-hmm. Next
Can
week,
we get some mailbag questions? That's the real question.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some mail. We'll have a little segment there right for that. Next week, we're going to have Carter Yates on, actually. So if you have a football related question, I asked.
Are we having Carter on? Okay.
Yeah, we are. I asked him.
But news to me.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought I'd break it to you.
This is
here.
like breaking on the pod. Hey, by the way, our guest next week. Our guest next week, Carter Yates.
Carter Yates. Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, no, I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk to him and start talking about football. So if you have a question for Carter, put it in the comments down below. Mike Craven Jr. on the pod next week.
I was gonna say this is Jacob really trying to get those ties with DTTF. He's like, let's get them real tight.
Well, we had Craven on, we had Ish on. Figure might as well throw fucking Carter in,
I know. When are we gonna get Tepper on?
Oh, that'd be fun too. But his damn schedule is crazy. I guess in the summertime would be the easiest way to get him on.
Yeah. Hey Tepper, long time no talk. How's it going?
Yeah. All right. Thanks for squaring, everybody.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.